just good old Kong, getting the stream started up slightly in advance of when the match is actually going to happen. Today we've got the quarterfinals, so let me just get my links posted and make sure my chat windows are up so I can see y'all. And then we'll have a few minutes available to get a little bit of pre-game analysis in. And see who's going to win this round in advance. And then, of course, we'll get to see not in advance, too, when we actually watch the results happening. Okay, so we've got YouTube. Yep, there's YouTube. I see you guys, YouTube. I see you guys. We got Twitch. Yep, I see Twitch. Alright, everyone. We're ready to go. Well, hello again. I'm doing okay. I just got back in from a photo shoot with Applesauce. So I'm covered with dirt from being out running around in the field wrangling Dobermans. But I made it back in time. So that's alright. Thanks for joining me on the stream again. I'm actually going to go ahead and get the old... Autorun was an Apex winner. He was. He won in Season 5. Gonna get the pre-stream pour on the go. Oh, I don't know what to think of that. So I've got this Mountain Dew Major Melon, the Watermelon Mountain Dew. Sounds good anyway. I'm a huge fan of watermelon stuff, and this just smells like... It smells exactly like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. So that... Oh yeah, it tastes like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. That's not a bad thing at all. Alright, pre-stream pour out of the way. Let's actually get some analysis. Yeah, I don't really drink too much soda normally either, Zeno, other than, like, bubbly water, because, I don't know, I don't like drinking sugar. But I saw this bright pink watermelon, I had to give it a go. Actually, before I get into the pregame analysis, I just have a couple minutes left. I want to throw out a thanks to Lord of the Rabbit. I didn't miss you on the last stream with the $5 donation. I think Tristan and I were just, like, neck deep in pre-game analysis when that donation came through, and then I didn't really see the notification for it until afterwards. So I didn't want to just throw out like an end of the stream thanks, Lord of the Rabbit. So this is your time in the sun right here at the start of the game here. Lord of the Rabbit, $5. Your advice on Discord along with summoning videos have helped a lot as a returning player. Thank you, Kong. Well, thank you so much for supporting the stream. It means a lot. It's actually a big help. And I say we have about 2 minutes now to take a quick little pre-look at these matches. So, Mr. X, by the way, thanks for the follow. Following for the Mountain Dew, more so than the Kong, I think. Let's take a look at who I think is going to win. First match, the one we're actually watching, we have MeowSensei versus Autorun. Autorun heavily favored in this game, which is clear from the bets, but also just Autorun being a real colossus of a Langrisser player. MeowSensei has a lot of bets in this game as well. Largely, that's just because of people hoping for an upset, like crossing their fingers and hoping for a big payout. MeowSensei, of all players, does kind of have the capability to throw a wrench into Autorun's game plan, just because he plays an interesting kind of box, He's a sneaky player. It's definitely possible for him to pull out something that Autorun's not expecting. So we've got 853 bets hoping for that upset and the big payout. The other match in the left bracket, we have Gall versus Feifei, and I kind of agree with the spread here that Gall is the favorite. That said, we've already seen through most of these playoffs that Feifei is a little bit of a wild card. We don't know exactly what he's capable of. So it's certainly possible that this will be an upset as well, with Feifei coming out on top of Gall. Next up on the right side, we have Raven71, who didn't play the match yesterday. That was played in advance. So he did legitimately beat Ease, but it just wasn't on Spectate. So Raven against Neversid, and it looks like Neversid has the slight advantage in votes. Personally, I think Neversid is the favorite to win here and is probably the safest bet out of everyone, every match in this round today. Mainly because, like, Autorun's a safe bet, but the payout is so small. I think Neversid is also a pretty safe bet, but the spread is much tighter, meaning you're going to get more bang for your buck when he wins. And finally, on the right side, we have SCL against Sophia. SCL also favored here. I think SCL probably wins this one. That said, that's not to discount Sophia. We can take a look at Sophia's play history here. Just cracked into the playoffs for the past couple seasons, but before that they do have a fairly strong track record, including a top 4 finish in the first season. So this is another player who's been around ever since Apex started. They've been in the playoffs every single season. So Sophia, definitely a consistent player, but I do think that SCL has the slight edge there in terms of just overall kind of dominant skill performances in playoffs and tournaments. Meow promised a surprise unit in main chord. I am excited to see what surprise unit Meow is going to pull out. I mean, Meow has a lot of surprising units built, so let's just hop into this match and see what the boxes look like already. You know, when Meow says a surprise unit, it could be someone like Ashram, for example. It looks like we've got an Albedo in play, so that might be a surprise unit. So this is a typical looking Meow box. Like, he has some very interesting units here. He likes Omega, Sage is good for him, Albedo with Hilda, with Christiane. That's kind of his 3-tank setup, I guess. No Landius, but Sage is a Landius. And Autorun is playing, of course, a very similar, if not the same meta-ish box that he was playing yesterday against Aerinoa. We've got that Rosalia again. We've got this Azusa again. So we'll wait for the players to come in and join the match, and then we will commence with pick and ban. Eternal Youth, thank you also for the follow. You got kind of overshadowed by Mr. X there a little bit, but I can see that you followed here on my little dashboard. Still waiting for Overlord rerun for Albedo. Yeah, we don't talk about Albedo. I very definitively not missed her in my summoning session. I think I ended up doing about 450 summons. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a whole thing on this channel. But Overlord probably should be coming back. Trails of Cold Steel probably coming back before Overlord, but then Overlord would be kind of on the schedule after that. Cold Steel I'm looking forward to because Free Kong doesn't have Altina yet. And Altina is a very different kind of unit. So I think she could be useful for Free Kong in doing some like weird content clears. Does Dark Faction have a non-collab tank besides Bernhard? Well, Bernhard is kind of a tank. Ultimuller is also a Dark Faction tank. Kind of a tank. Again, these are like kind of tank figures. Betty, yeah. Alright, these players have about another 80 seconds to join the game. Oh my goodness, I thought those Dobermans would be tired after today. They want to just chime in. They heard there was a cat involved in today's games, and that got them all riled. Actually, they were doing this just before the game yesterday, too, because the Amazon delivery driver brought me a laptop for my neighbor. And I was like, I should probably actually take that over to him. Yeah, you're sure Meow has cat ham. Not only does he have cat ham, I'm actually in his guild server because Freekong is in his Lushiris guild, and they've kind of mandated that everyone who has Watham, uses that avatar. Obviously, Freekong off the hook because I was not allowed to summon Watham on that account. But on that note, there's no like free-to-play freebies unit with a cat skin. Big shame. Actually, I guess Chris has a cat skin, doesn't she? Probably should have gotten that one. Making PB plans with the 5-minute timer. I don't think the players actually get to see each other's boxes for that whole 5 minutes. As soon as they check in, basically, that's when they get the pick and ban screen to come up. Alright, pick and ban time, auto run as player 1. So let's take a look. MeowSensei, who is your first ban? Banning out the Watham. Certainly not a bad play. First ban Watham is good because it's dangerous for Meow's tanks. He's got 3 tanks, so it's pretty clear that he's going to want to play one. He has all tanks who can guard against Lucretia, so that makes her more of a second ban. Azusa can be dangerous against these tanks, though. So that's something Meow is going to have to look out for. Auto run going with the first pick IBC, which opens up lots of options for his second and third pick DPS. Banning Hilda out first as opposed to the other tanks also lets him bring in one of his assassins for second pick and not have to worry about that anti-crit aura. So what's Meow's response going to be? There's certainly a lot of options on Autorun's side for things that Meow should be scared of. Either the Assassin route with the Epsilon, the Kyra, a valuable assassin as well, or the Azusa as a tank busting option. Oh, wow. Okay, Meow not showing any respect to the assassins, banning out the mages. 2 mages right away, and that's because he's not securing one of his tanks first. So banning out the mages does allow him to let his tanks get banned, and then potentially, if he has to, run Lewin as a tank, because he doesn't guard magic, but he will guard physical. Not really an ideal setup, though. So let's see what Meow has up his sleeve. He does secure the Lucretia. Lucretia would love to face Autorun's team without Hilda in play, but she can also melt through Hilda if she has to. Lucretia also a solid counter to Azusa, so that makes one of Autorun's DPS slightly less valuable. Autorun instantly going with Kyra, as though she was part of his plan all along. IBC plus Kyra is a very dangerous combo. It just gives her that much more zoning capability, especially with her long built-in range. Okay, so now Meow takes the Hilda off the table and the Epsilon. Autorun's going to be tankless. Tankless against a Lucretia. Not a super ideal situation for Autorun, but that said, he does have lots of long leg options to make it slightly less frightening. So MeowSensei secures his tank on this turn, and it doesn't have to be Albedo, that's fine. With the Kyra and Rosenban, that effectively takes most of Meow's healing off the table. So IBC is potential off healer for Meow. Yeah, and Autorun brings out the D-Heart. D-Heart potentially as an option to kill the Lucretia, although I'm sure Autorun has done his research and determined whether or not that Lucretia is immune to fixed damage. If she's not, then D-Heart can eat through both of her lives. If she is, then that's not really a great option. Yeah, Spooky, MeowSensei started off running a lot of dark units, and naturally built Albedo right out of the gate, so I think he looks for any opportunity he can to bring her out. Okay, Autorun gets rid of that IBC, and gets rid of Meow's other remaining longest leg unit in Helena, and gets his Sissy White out, which also gives him a tank option. Good healing option. Okay, Meow banning out the two scarier DPS threats, so Autorun can go with Rosalia here. I think having two healers for his side is probably a little bit overkill. Although he's definitely going to want to ban out Watham at this point. It's fine to leave Albedo up because that'll kind of saddle Meow with two tanks. He's not particularly worried about trying to get through those tanks. He does have two assassins. Okay, so MeowSensei is going to get the Lewin, and then they're going to take a couple minutes to pick their skills, pick their troops, pick their positions, and then we'll join them on the battlefield. Oh, it's like drinking melted Jolly Ranchers. It's less refreshing and more like candy time. It's fine if that's why you drink. Drink for the taste. So who else did everyone in here bet on? I know someone said they put a couple on Autorun. One ticket on Sophia, Gold Magistrate. Oh, Michael Johansson went Otto and Fei Fei. Three on Meow, one on Sophia. Okay, so we got some people who have some skin in this game. 12 on Meow for Eternal Youth. Wow, that's going to be a big payout if Meow wins this game. Six on Meow. Okay, wow, we have a lot of people who are really hoping for an upset here. How are your gold supplies? Ninjas bet all on underdogs. 6 on auto, going for the safe bet, the safe payout. Alright, let's see what we got here. Fairly typical setup on the Rosalia. Kyra brought her 2 damage skills, IBC with mass attack. That allows the Sissy to have Inspire, and D-Heart with a pretty typical setup as well. Kaze all in on Meow because safe bets are boring. Safe bets are boring, and also safe. I mean, they're safe for a reason, but when you hit that big payout, it's the stuff of legends, isn't it? It's enough to make people jealous of all your money. Everything looking pretty normal over here as well. So Lucretia's the one who's going to bring mass attack for Meow's side. Yeah, Boots Rosalia. It should be Boots Rosalia. We got some bets on Gull, supporting the home team, Frank. Emerald Dragon. Last time you bet on SCL, you got stiffed. Oh, the memory. Long betting memory. That's okay, that's learning from experience. So again, we see this auto run. Really good management of his backup time. He knows what his opening gambits are, he knows what his plays that he wants to make are, and he executes. One of the things Meow is going to want to be careful of, which was one of the pitfalls Aerinoa fell into yesterday, was using up a lot of backup time early to plan out their moves, and then not have it later when you need it. So we are going to see some jockeying here, just to get into range before there's any kind of opening salvo. So we have an Assassin Kyra with Sorceresses. She's going to be hoping to be able to kill Epsilon and or Lewin. Cherie is probably going to have to be D-Heart's job. These sorceresses on Kyra are going to have a harder time with this Angel Cherie. Latonin, by the way, will I build SP Ledin? I will build SP Ledin. So far I've built all the SP characters. Well, I mean, I've made them SP. I haven't, like, heavily invested in them all, but even Grenier, I have his SP unlocked at least. And Ledin, to be perfectly honest, was my first OG, like, character that I really went after hard. Started on day 1 when Lang first launched, and I was a fan of Warsong, original Langrisser 1 from back in the day, so Ledin was kind of like the main character that I actually knew and was familiar with. So I tried to get him early, and yeah, I'll build his SP. I'm not going to be using him in, like, Apex or anything like that, but I'll build him. Yeah, Ledin, unfortunately, the way that he counters ranged attacks is with, you know, reflective shit. Thorns, drop near, crystal molders. So Meow does get a breeze, a helpful little breeze on this Epsilon. Keeping behind the lines a little bit. Epsilon's the kind of assassin that you kind of need to nurture through to the mid-game a little bit. He needs to get stacks before he can be really relied on. So I like to kind of keep him hanging back and make sure he stays alive until you need him a couple rounds in. Xeno uses Leaden in Apex already. Can't wait for SP. Yeah, SP... I don't think SP's like a significant upgrade on normal Leaden. So if you're using him anyway, it just does streamline him a little bit. Like, it'll make him a little bit better at the stuff that he already does well. So yeah, if you're using him already, then definitely. I can't wait to see some of your matches with him, Xeno. Kyra getting invested. We may see Autorun hopefully making a play for one of his targets at the start of the next turn. Also getting this little infantry attack command aura guy out front early. That's interesting. Yeah, Gold Magistrate. I'm still trying to decide what I want to use for enchants for SP Leaden. For a character like that, I kind of feel like almost want to go with a mean build on him. So Kyra should be able to hit from within attack command range if she's going for the Lewin from here. Yeah, the Thorns Leaden Showcase. Oh, she's not even going for the Lewin, she's gonna go for the Lucretia. Very dangerous move. Totally debated. Doesn't take one life. And the risk with attacking into Lucretia is getting counter-killed, so Autorun's lucky that that wasn't enough to happen. Well, that's Kyra's big 3C skill off the table now for the next 3 turns. This season is going to be Lucretia's Apex skin, yes. The Lucretia skin itself looks very similar. Oh, I'm not saying it's not worth it, I'm just saying it's risky. It's risky. Probably wouldn't have killed the Lewin either, so yeah, getting Lucretia injured and breaking techs is not a bad move. Autorun definitely knows how to play a patient setup game, too. The Lucretia Apex skin, my problem with it is that it looks very similar to her other skins. The main advantage of the skin is that, compared to like base Vance, or even the EOL Vance, it's just a... like the golem is literally just an orb, like it's not even a person or a being, it just looks like a floating orb, which if you're into that kind of thing is pretty cool. I like the EOL because it's Vance's true disco form. There's just not enough disco, like, 70s representation in this game. We need, like, a 70s disco skin for Bernhardt or Leon with big sideburns. Yeah, Meow, I mean, Meow can heal with... Lucretia has some healing naturally. She doesn't have Reaper, but... Lewin can heal as well. I don't know, I guess we'll see if it pays off. I guess it puts a little bit of pressure on this Lucretia that she can't feel invincible out front. Especially against Dehart or Kyra. Afro hair Bernie. speaking of a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses, I really want some kind of surfer skin. Like, I don't even care who it is. I think, like, Leon would be a cool skin with, like, an open Hawaiian shirt and board shorts with, like, a surfboard under his arm. But you could do that with almost any of the male characters in this game. Okay, so Lucretia's just gonna get this little minion off the table. No skill used there, which is fine. So she got a little bit of healing from her post-action. Not for the Sorks, though. Yeah. Yeah, Emilia has a really rough life here in Lang. That said, she's fake. Like, she's a fake character. I know the idea of Vargas having a little baby daughter exists in the mainline Lang lore, but they pretty much just pulled that, like, one line out and invented a whole, like, side story character for her. So I guess if they had to do any character dirty, it might as well be a fake character like Emilia. That's just bitter old Kong who, you know, gets a little bit salty that they're adding these weird little sideline characters when they still have awesome characters from the original games that haven't come out yet. So they're kind of mitigating that a little bit with adding Ricky and McLean into the game finally, but like, look at the whole Langrisser 1 cast. They're so cool. I love them. I keep saying that they need to add Taylor, aka Tiburon, to the game as a Crocodile Knight. He could be the first Crocodile Knight. You can even give him a little crocodile in his, like, avatar portrait. Alright, Meow is preparing for something next round. He's got his Epsilon is moved into position. He's hiding right now, so he can't be hit by single target attacks. So he'll be ready to kill someone next turn. Who do we think his primary target is? Obviously IBC is dangerous, but on the other hand, she can't ignore guards, so one of these assassins, I think Meow is probably going to want to get off the table first. Yeah, IBC's a threat to the tank, though, which that's a good point, especially with these phalanxes. She can strip Christian's guard, cut through those phalanxes like paper. What's the plan, Rosalia? I don't know. I'm not sure what a pre-shiv like that, like, normally I'd be thinking you pre-shiv to get your debuff immunity up, but it's not like Meow's team is covered with debuffers. Did he not realize that Epsilon was hiding? That's the only thing I can think of, is he thought maybe he was going into this Epsilon, but didn't realize it was hiding. The only other thing I can think of is that that's a bait to just give Epsilon an option for a unit to take out. But I mean, that's fine. I don't see MeowSensei taking that if it's bait. Like, if he brought Epsilon up into the action to take out one of these more threatening units, he's not going to suddenly change his mind and take out a Rosalia for no reason. Yeah, Vermilion, not even just on the first round, but we're just about to witness kind of the first engagements on this first round. You can see MeowSensei's backup time is pretty cooked. So the Lucretia moves in, doesn't do anything to that Rosalia. I guess maybe that was the point of the pre-shiv, so that none of Lucretia's 3C debuffs went on Rosalia beforehand. That helped her survive. So Luke is out of 3C for the next couple turns at least. Yeah, the wind wall definitely helped, although I don't think it was 100% needed. I think this was surviving regardless. Alright, here comes D-Heart. This D-Heart is not going to be able to... Okay, he's going for the Lewin. That's a good move. Lewin is down. That's another stack for Epsilon. Stuns Lucretia. They are strong. Yeah, Autorun has some good enchants, I'm sure. I'm eager to see who Meow is killing with this Epsilon. We still have Cherie back here loaded up and ready to go as well. Okay, Cherie's making her move. One shot's the D-Heart. That's another stack for Epsilon. She has her second move. She has Shadow Raid. She can run back to guard range as well, or she can try to take a pluck at someone. This is going to be a tall order. Yeah, she's going to make the safe play, go back to guard. That's fine, because Autorun only has one more guard ignoring unit here. And if Epsilon kills that, then Autorun's game plan has to be to get through this Christiane. Now, that's not something that's off the table either. Christiane's already hurt, there's no healer, and there are a couple of units here with a lot of good single target potential. So we're about to see what IBC can do to Christiane. We do get a Defender of the People proc. Not enough to save that first life. So Autorun has options here. There's just a half-health Christiane with no revive now. That makes Meow's decision for the Epsilon even more important. Okay, and it is going to be the IBC. That's kind of what we thought. Easy kill. Epsilon is shielded up. He has all 4 stacks. Rosalia getting act again here. That was a Death's Robe proc. It basically prevents crit, but it was not enough to prevent death. So as we can see, Christiane not guarding. So using that Act Again on Rosalia as an opportunity to pluck off Epsilon's shield and also injure him. Now Meow has to be worried about somehow protecting this Epsilon with Chris's guard not up, so he's running back into her passive guard range. Kyra still no skills for the next 2 turns. Okay, Rosalia going in. Oh, the Christiane barely survives. 100 hit points left on that one. That's bad news for Autorun. Cherie kills the Kyra with a normal attack. Perfect time to run Cherie out. Her silence is off. Her Act Again will be ready for next turn. And Autorun has to get through this 100 health Christiane before he can attack anyone now. Okay, this Cav will probably do the trick. This finishes Christiane off. Which means that Autorun basically has his choice of units that he wants to kill. Rosalia has no skills up yet. This turn, she won't be able to cycle her skills. So the Epsilon's not going down since he's shielded. Gonna get Rosalia on one of those forts, heal back up, take some chunks out of Cherie, but Cherie not close to death from that. And now Meow still with weapons left. This hurt Cherie. Can pluck from range. Yeah, she's got Shadow Raid. Going for the Sissy. Gonna stun the Sissy. And now can basically combo... Yeah, wow. So that is the first game that Autorun has dropped. Game 1 over in Meow's favor. Everyone in the chat cheering for a payday. Cheering for payday, I see it. On to game 2, my friends. That was well played by Meow. Autorun was, had a few options to try to chunk through Meow's defenses there, and just didn't quite make it happen. So we'll see if they make any box changes for Game 2. It's going to be on a bit more of an open map, the ice map, Winter Hideaway. Yeah, who doesn't love seeing underdogs step up, Eternal Youth? I always love to see big upsets. I honestly don't think either player really needs to change the box, especially on this map. There's no, like, map-specific tech. I don't think Autorun had any, like, dead units there. Same with Meow. The strategy worked out. Well, I'll take the opportunity to top up this candy beverage. Yeah, Frozen, I agree. I think that's the first game Autorun dropped. Oh, and we do have some changes. take a look at what we lost. Kyra, Rosen, and Rosalia down. And that allows him to bring up another assassin, another almost assassin, hinting that he's going to be focusing on banning Hilda again, and Himiko for some AoE annoyance. Meow, for his part, drops Sage, drops Albedo, brings up Jugler, and brings up Liana for a little bit of anti-AoE, or just splash ability. Who knows what Meow's plan is there. And an additional healer, so he doesn't get blocked out of healing. He may not have felt comfy playing without a healer in the last game, even though he did win. Well, Gold Magistrate, it's funny that you should say that, because last season I had Mrs. Kong come on and co-commentate the finals. This season, I unfortunately am not going to be able to be here for the finals, because I'm going to be out doing some dog sports with Applesauce. So I'm going to try to find a way to get Mrs. Kong into some of the action here this season, though. I've been toying with the idea of having Mrs. Kong play my account for early ladder. She's never even looked at this game before, definitely never played it. She doesn't know who any of the characters are, or what any of the skills are, or even like how to click on things. So I think it would be really funny to put her in some live Apex matches and then just see what happens. Alright, so MeowSensei is going with assassin bans early this time. Banned out the IBC as well, which was Autorun's first pick last time, but that does let Autorun get a first pick Watham. Oh, John, I would definitely not be teaching her how to play. No, no, no. 99% of the fun would be her having no clue what she was doing and getting absolutely obliterated. It would be stressful for her, but if I have gold rank protection, I'm not going to lose points. I guess it would hurt my win ratio, but that's really just an ego thing. So Autorun getting Lucretia as well. See, this is one of the tricky things for MeowSensei, is if he wants to ban out the assassins, then he's going to be facing these OP other non-assassin characters. He tried that last game by banning out the mages, and he faced assassins. He didn't like it. Alright, so all of Meow's tanks banned out. It looks like Meow might be considering bringing in this Lewin as a tank again. We saw Meow use Lewin as a tank against Hayl to good effect, but Lewin's not going to be tanking this Lucretia. So, I mean, it's only going to give him partial coverage. That's exactly the thing, Cucumber. No matter what you pick and ban against Autorun, you're going to be up against something scary. Yeah, Guitar, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I actually still really like this game. I mean, a lot of the other players and creators got burned out or frustrated by one thing or another. I remember when Keebs left, he was super frustrated by the enchant system, which is fair. But, like, it's a game. There's going to be RNG. There's going to be times where you summon and you don't get your unit. There's going to be times where you try to enchant and you don't get an enchant. I'm not super worried about that. I'm also not, like, planning to win first place in Apex Arena either, so you have reasonable expectations. And it's just a game. It's just a way to unwind, have fun with people. Yeah, Zeno, I know Air said he's planning on making more content once another good gacha comes along, so I don't think it's entirely his work. I think he's just kind of done with Lang as well. Yeah, Nitro quit playing the game like a year ago. He posted a big thing about quitting. Yeah, people want to try new things, get side games. I don't know, I like a game like this to last for like 10 years, because then it becomes a part of your like routine, and it feels comfortable, like home. I would certainly keep playing this game as long as it's live. Alright, so we've got the lineup set. I didn't really walk through that whole pick band because I was kind of talking to the chat. But we do have a scary set of DPS here, supplemented by Sissy White, which is an act again, and also physical tank if needed. On MeowSensei's side, we do have all assassins, except for a potential tank Lewin, and a pest Himiko. Yeah, Zeno, I think a lot of people just didn't really realize that a turn-based strategy game, like a grid-based SRPG, could be a viable, like, PvP game. Yeah, Hockey, there are definitely some gachas out there. Like, the 10-year was a number I just kind of pulled out of my head, but there are some, like, weird little under-the-radar, like, cute dragon hatching games that are kind of gacha-like that have been going on for ever since, like, gachas have been a thing. I know someone who's planning on developing their own, like, grid-based style, just PvP-focused game, so kind of like Lang or Final Fantasy Tactics, without any of the trappings and without any of the PvE and story stuff, just basically like an Apex mode online. So that could be good if someone actually, like, goes through with developing something like that. Alright, let's take a look at what we've actually got here. So, Autorun, as first player again, has Reaper and Black Hole with mass attack, so a little bit of a flex option on this Lucretia. We've also got Royal Calves on an otherwise standard Helena. We've got a single target Watham, perfectly makes sense. We've got State Guards on this Werner, also makes sense. And again, Inspire on the Sissy. If they make a Suikoden gacha game, I don't think it'll be a grid-based strategy. It's going to be one of those, like, turn-based RPG gachas, which I'm not really into. Like, if I want to play a turn-based, like a standard, traditional JRPG, it's not going to be a mobile gacha. So on Meow's side, we have Epsilon again, back in action. We've also got a Kyra, Himiko with Sealing Technique, the same Sherry that we've seen, and he did bring Guard on his Lewin. So that's going to factor into his plans somehow. Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite games, one of my earliest good gaming memories, but that said, Final Fantasy Tactics has kind of the problem that J.R.R. Tolkien has with Lord of the Rings. So many games and so many tactics games come along and try to copy it or, like, take elements from it or make a version of it, like, try to recapture that magic. Just like so much of, like, the fantasy genre is so heavily based on Tolkien stuff that it never really feels original or as good as the original. Like, you're not going to come along and make another Final Fantasy Tactics game that is as good as Final Fantasy Tactics if that's what you're trying to do. You have to do your own thing. You really have to bring your own spin to it. Yeah, Zilong has a few irons in the fire. All we know about Front Mission is that they've got the rights to work on a Front Mission gacha game. But I think that is probably a ways off before we see that. I know they're working on an Ys game, and they're working on Archland, which is kind of a reskin of Kalpa. So they do have a lot of things going on. So speaking of nudes, I want to learn guitar. Apparently that Legend of Clover game that came out, which was basically just like a porn version of Langrisser, and plagiarized and copied all of Langrisser's skills and characters. I heard on Discord that they are doing a global version of that game, which is just hilarious to me. I don't really know, like, I've never really played those kinds of, I don't know what you even call them, lewd gacha games, so I don't know if there's like a big market for them in the West. It seems like there would be. I don't know. Is the West, like, more or less conservative in terms of, like, lewd video games? But rumor has it, and I'm not sure because I haven't seen any actual news about it or any source for it, but rumor has it that Clover game is getting a Western release. So if I have to do Should You Summon for, like, naked characters, I don't know. I might bow out on that one. We can let, Okay, so yeah, MeowSensei moving his Epsilon back into safety. Also burning his hide back here. So he doesn't want someone to be able to get all the way back in there and hit that Epsilon. Hugo, have you played any of the Phantasy Star Online games? I know, like, that's the Sega franchise. Like, they don't make those kind of old school, like, Master System Phantasy Star games anymore, but they do have this kind of, like, side universe of Phantasy Star Online or Phantasy Star Universe, whatever they're called. I've never actually played them, but they seem kind of cool. Okay, so Werner moving into position and catching a breeze. That's most likely going to be an attack stance Werner. Okay, the Himiko aggressively positioning to allow herself to 3C this whole team at the start of this round. Okay, so Werner makes his play. Kyra is gone, and that also gives Himiko, Lewin, and Cherie the Watham stacks. Yeah, Eternal Youth, I think the remasters of Lang were not necessarily meant to, like, relaunch the franchise. I think they were always considered, like, always expected to be kind of a niche. Like, they were throwing those games to the fan base as a way of, like, here's a way you can officially play Langrisser 2 for the first time. Oh, the Cherie, counter-killed by that Werner. So Autorun makes the exact kind of trade he's hoping to make there. He gets to kill Kyra and Cherie in exchange for his Werner. Yeah, that's a perfect trade for Autorun. He's just super happy with that. He could use this infantry to pop Himiko's talent. Yep, so she's going to teleport back. And now when Watham makes his move, he'll be able to come in. He could kill her if he wants to. Love that we're watching this like super high level technical Langrisser playoff match and also having a really good JRPG discussion in the chat. You'll love to see it. Great community. Yeah, Mr. X, that's definitely a situation where the old Cherie armor comes in super handy. Okay, so Himiko just straight up toast. Watham doesn't even need to jump to take her out. So Meow is really just relying on a Lewin here and Epsilon to carry against Helena, Lucretia, Watham, a healer with an act again. A lot of people were running Cherie with her exclusive earlier in the season. But then I think they kind of narrowed down the list of units that you actually need to use it on. Like, how many of Cherie's actual targets out there do you risk counter-killing yourself on? I think making the attempt against Werner there was a little bit sus. I mean, obviously with hindsight, we know it was. That's the kind of play where if Tristan were here, knowing how much he hates those assassins, he would have been fuming seeing that Werner counter-kill that Cherie. In fact, he's probably watching this game from home, fuming, and I'll get a text message from him after. So Meow is going to try to play a patient game back here and basically let Epsilon slowly take out Autorun's units one by one, assuming Autorun doesn't play patiently and overwhelm Meow. So that's basically going to be the play. If he comes in one at a time and basically lets Epsilon kill a unit and then still be safe from any follow-up afterwards, that's trouble for Autorun, but I don't see Autorun making that mistake. Spooky, it's currently too late to get the cat skin. It was a limited sale in the shop, but that said, it'll be coming back. The shop skins tend to come back every 6 months or 12 months. I want to learn guitar. Should have an Apex Season 1, only SR and Rs. There have definitely been tournaments. There was a tournament called Summit der Benchgrisser, which was a play on the Summit der Langrisser tournament. It's not run by the same people, but it was basically a community-organized tournament where you could only use R and SR characters. It was before I had the FreeKong account, though, so I didn't really play in it. But it's a fun idea for sure. I've also joked about the idea of having a nude tournament where you have to run all unequipped characters. Crossover skins only cycle back during the crossover event with one exception. There was 1 month where the Deedlit and Parn Echo of Light skins came back into the Echo rotation, and it was not during a Lodos War crossover. But the downside of that, of course, is you need to pay like $300 to get the skins, so I don't know. The flip side of that is when the Sakura Wars collab came back, they didn't rerun the skins, which was super frustrating because I would have picked up the Iris skin. Hey, John, the ancient Athenians and Spartans used to wrestle nude. That was their idea of a tournament. So, you know, it's just a classical interpretation of a Langrisser tournament. Yeah, nonsense. I don't think Meow does come back from this. I think he's just hoping to see what this Epsilon can do. So literally just chucking Helena in there just to bust that shield. And then the Waitham play, easily taking out the Epsilon here, and Meow has to know that just Lewin's not going to carry him against all these DPS. That said, like, Meow's toast here, but I don't begrudge him staying in the match. Okay, if he wanted to play it out for a couple more turns, some people think that's bad manners. I personally think if you need that extra time to, like, plan your approach or plan your comeback for the next game, use that time of just, like, dicking around in the match and have your team, whoever's backseating with you, start making decisions about, like, who to bring up from your backup box, or, like, what your pick ban is going to look like in the next game. So yeah, he did get an opportunity to make an attack on Ham, see what the Ham looked like, get a feel for his gear, and now we are back. Game 3. So 1-1, MeowSensei, Autorun. Meow is going to be player 1 this time. And whoever wins takes it all. Frozen reporting in the chat that Gall lost 2-0 to Feifei. So yeah, that's like what I was saying before this stream, right? I thought Gall was probably the favorite, but Feifei's such a dark horse. Like, no one really knows what he's capable of. Other than, you know, how far he's come already in this playoffs. Like, who's playing that Feifei account? We don't really know what he can do. Obviously, he's got some good units, he's got some good skills. So, you know, upsetting someone like Gall, that was on the table, and then he's going to be playing against the winner of this one single remaining match here. So we could be looking at Feifei versus MeowSensei next week. We could be looking at Feifei versus Season 5 champ Autorun next week. Either way, that'll be an interesting match. And if this is the only game left, then welcome to the stream, everyone who was watching the other games. It's good to have you here. Thanks for reporting the news as well. Okay, so Autorun dropping Werner back out of the box and bringing up Florentia. We're on the same map again, which is kind of boring. But MeowSensei, of course, banning out that Waitham first. So, Autorun has been sticking with this first ban Hilda every game, and it's, you know, a good play. It's been working out. We'll see if Autorun gets IBC in first like he did in Game 1. So Meow going with first pick Lucretia. That's not unusual. We've seen him do that. We know he likes to get his Lucretia in the action. And sure enough, Autorun does get IBC in play. He's leaving Meow with Jugler as his only tank option, so we'll see if Meow wants to go that way. So SCL beats Sophia as well. And who in the chat was watching the Never Sid match versus Raven? Is that one over already? Never Sid won that one. Okay, that's what I thought. So we're going to have Never Sid versus SCL next week. That'll be a good match. And then Fei Fei versus the winner of this one. As far as what I think about next banner, Kaguya and Caroline, stay tuned because Should You Summon's going to be coming up later this week. For a general, like, pre-spoiler of how I feel about the banner, for most players, I think it's pretty skippable. Neither of those characters is really a game changer, so neither of them is a character that you desperately need to pull to start building right away or to put in your box right away. But if you like them for whatever reason, like if you're running a certain kind of box and you think Caroline looks good to support your AoE, or you think Kaguya looks good because her art looks good, yeah, like Mew just said in the chat, Kaguya's pretty, go ahead and summon. But yeah, for the next couple months, Lostum is definitely going to be the next, like, real gem of a character to summon. MeowSensei getting his own IBC out again. So we've got kind of an IBC and Epsilon tandem semi-mirror match here coming up. Gintama is another banner that I think is worth summoning on. So if you get Lostum, I think Lostum is the next character who's pretty much going to be able to fit in any box no matter what. Gintama has... Obviously, Gintoki is a good... Like, he looks like a solid character. I've watched some, like, Chinese Apex a little bit and seen him in action, and he's good for Ancient Beckoning too, so I'm going to try to summon him. Meow bringing out the Omega. This is like one of Meow's comfort blankets. He loves his Omega, so we'll see if he gets to make any big plays with him here. Autorun getting a tank out for a change. This is really interesting because we've seen Autorun play a slightly different style of game each game. Now, Meow seeing that tank pick and then immediately bans out the healers, that takes a little bit of the longevity value of the tank pick away from Autorun, so he can't like just hide with his tank and hope to outlast. But Meow has two assassins anyway, so Hilda's really kind of there to prevent the crit, to maybe neuter Omega a little bit. The Dobermans are renewing their fury about MeowSensei still being in this match. Yeah, she's definitely there to eat an Omega crit. The other thing is, Autorun has his own, like several of his own DPS options to help take out Meow's assassins before they become a super dangerous threat. So yeah, no Oboro action today. No Azusa action today. But we do get to see some Omega action. Mew, I just have the two Dobermans. They're both girls. Enemy Helena can't use your Helena tiles, no, but she can very easily clean up your enemy's tiles. What else? Can Omega kill Helena? I'm gonna generally say it's unlikely. A lot of people build their Helena with skill. And Autorun's Helena is gonna be built to the gills. So, if Meow wants to kill that Helena, he's going to need to pluck off the Hilda anti-crit aura first before he even tries. Alright, let's see what we got. He did bring the Dark Elf Snipers on his Omega. Kind of hoping for angels on the enemy's units. He doesn't get them. Other than that, Omega looking normal. Alright, we've got a mostly AoE Lucretia here, also with archers. Just Dark Reaper for a little bit of healing. We've got Mass Attack on the IBC, and we do have Angels on Meow's Helena. On Autorun's side, we've got the Molders on the fully decked out tank Hilda here, and everyone else is looking pretty normal. There's no mass attack on anyone here, so presumably D-Heart is going to be using his 1C faction buff on IBC. That lets her have the 2 DPS skills. Yeah, the Dobermans do eat quite a lot, basically every time a postman comes to the door. Are Oboro and Azusa game changers? How do they compare to Rostam in PvP? I think they're less game changers than Lostam is. Well, I don't really think game changer is the best word. I think it's more like Lostam is one of those characters, kind of like Lucretia or kind of like Watham, who can fit into any box. So basically, no matter what style you run, you have a safe spot for Lostam in your box. Oboro and Azusa are slightly less like that. I do like Oboro versus tank push boxes. I do like Oboro versus rush boxes as well. You just have to play them slightly differently. But the thing is, your box can still function pretty well without either of those units. So if you missed them or skipped them, it's not like you have a glaring hole in your box. Like, you can still put together a good, well-formed, versatile, or strategy-specific box without those units. Yeah, and Lostam has, his Echo of Light skin has rippling abs, so that immediately puts him in the abs squad. It's a good point, Mew. So the Helena does have 263 skill. Omega doubles that, right? Oh. He just brought the attack boost. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Interesting. I want to learn guitar. That Eye Patch Brenda is not actually SP Brenda. That's an entirely separate character. I mean, it is Brenda, but it's not going to be an SP version of her. So if you want her, you're going to have to summon for her again. Yeah, this Omega situation is interesting, but that said, Meow is a seasoned Omega user, so he had a plan. Whatever his plan is here, we're going to see whether it works. We're going to see whether it works. Autorun getting that breeze on Helena, moving her up into a slightly more aggressive position here. Not super concerned with his aggressive positioning with these assassins coming in. So he knows he's got one anti-crit action. He has 2 assassins to worry about. One is a no surprise attack Omega. One is a no stacks Epsilon. IBC hasn't pulled the trigger on her talent, her attack boosting talent yet. So it's looking like the plan might be to get that on Lucretia and Epsilon. For Autorun's part, Meow doesn't have a tank, so pretty much his win con here is just to slowly but surely chip away at and take out Meow's units. Okay, Autorun using D-Heart's micro faction buff on the Helena. So he's got plans for this Helena coming up. Keeping his other units safely out of range for now. If Meow's excuse is really going to be that he forgot to set Omega's skills, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll have to see what the Discord fallout of this match is. I mean, the match is not over. They haven't even engaged yet. So I'm still not calling it either way for either of these players. But we'll just have to watch and see fairly closely what this Omega does. Omega, no. I don't think Omega is killing this Helena. I don't think Omega is killing this Helena. We've still got some Meow truthers in the chat. Oh, hoping for payout, that's right. After that first game, everyone got their... everyone started salivating about the prospect of the millions of dollars that are about to roll in. Alright, Autorun successfully running down Meow's backup time again. We've seen this in the past couple games. Not just Meow, with Aerinoa as well. Alright, here we go. The Epsilon making an attempt with no crit on this Helena, with no stacks on Epsilon. Comes out front. No kill. His skills are also down. But he does have the refresh from Vance up his sleeve if he needs it. Omega not likely to be doing anything. And... I mean, we do have a follow-up available against this Epsilon. We have a couple follow-ups available against this Epsilon. He's no longer shielded. I mean, I guess he never had his shield. No rush to go after the Epsilon quite yet. Helena's charging in to do as much damage as possible down here in the corner. Oh, this is going to be big. This looks really hurty. Okay, going for the 2 lives off the Lucretia. So the first life, and the second life, with the AoE splash. Now that does shield up the Epsilon, so not taking the Epsilon first gives him an opportunity to get a little bit more bulky. But Meow has no healers, so he's got a dead Lucretia, and he's got an almost dead everyone else. This is looking really bad, and this is going to be another situation where it looks like Meow is almost going to be relying on this Epsilon to carry the entire match against an opponent Epsilon, against an IBC that can strip his shield away. So I think this one is over. The other thing is, like, IBC could have gone into defensive stance after this to get a little bit of healing, but he just used his attack stance on her, so he doesn't get that back for another couple turns. Yeah, that would have been kind of the only way to recover there. But Autorun timed it well. Helena literally just ran down and ended her turn. I guess hoping to, well, clear her tile so she's not on her own tile anymore, so she doesn't have that defensive bonus, and theoretically make her weak enough that some of Meow's injured units can finish that Helena off now. Like IBC, for example, still has Gift of Eternal Life, so she can attack this and do a little bit of healing. A little bit of healing. Oh, the weapon's broken. Good point. So enough to kill, but no bonus healing. I might have considered using her Scarlet move there just to burn that off. Okay, no shield strip from the Epsilon, so he survives that. First little onslaught from IBC, but she does have... Oh, she didn't even use the 3C, so she wasn't going for a shield strip, she was just going for a straight-up shield bust. That's fine. Autorun at this point knows he has all the time in the world to work this thing down. He's got a couple more DPS waiting in the background to come in and finish that Epsilon off. Especially an injured Epsilon. So here comes the D-Heart. D-Heart's gonna finish the job. Yeah, Jero, there was the other attack skill. She used her Commander's Ferocity. Some really sneaky, nasty positioning here to get that stun on the Helena, too. What are you gonna do, Omega? No crit, and barely any damage done against the D-Heart. Okay, so Meow with turn priority really only has kind of Omega with no skills or an injured IBC. He can use Scarlet first. Yeah, so that gets the broken weapon effect off. And now he'll be able to get Gift of Eternal Life healing. That's not going to be enough to help him. Hilda herself coming in to finish this Omega off. So the only move Meow can make at this point is Vance, who's not going to do anything. This is stunned, so she's going to end her turn. I mean, I guess the Golem does knock off the anti-crit aura, but Meow doesn't have anyone who really is looking to take advantage of that. Helena's down. And we've got basically an IBC versus IBC match here. Except Autorun also has Epsilon and Hilda on top of that. And that is game. So Autorun winning that one with fairly interesting matches, winning it 2-1. Meow put up a good fight. Took a game off Autorun and then, you know, put in some fairly interesting battles for the next couple. But F in the chat to everyone who put all their tickets on Meow hoping for a big payout. F in the chat for all the payout, boys. And GG's to Autorun. Everyone who wanted that really safe bet, you can go and collect your, like, 15 gold. I'm just going to take a quick look at the results here before calling it a day. Some box changes didn't go through. You mean before the match actually started, or you mean calling up from backup box, Red? Because if you're trying to change your box when the 5-minute you can connect to your match now timer starts, you don't get to actually change your box. So we've got Fei versus Autorun coming up on the left bracket next week. That, I think, is going to be a really interesting match, because obviously we know how good Autorun is, but we don't really know what Fei can do, so seeing Fei against Autorun is going to be entertaining, for sure. On the right side, we've got NeverSid versus SCL, and obviously both of those are strong, talented players. Basically, I think whoever wins out of the left and whoever wins out of the right, it's going to end up being an interesting matchup in the finals. I think we are in luck. We're going to have an interesting final, no matter who wins next week. We're in luck. It's going to be an interesting finals. Well, there's my 1.5 million. That pays for the tickets that I memed on Aerinoa yesterday. But it was all in good fun, my friends. It was all in good fun. So, thanks for coming out and watching. Super interesting, super entertaining games. Whoa, no peeking. What are we no peeking at? There we go. That's better. That's better. That's better, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Very entertaining, very interesting games. Next week, I am going to be here for the semifinals. So I'll probably watch... Who should I watch? Let me know in the chat who we should watch for that one. Because like I said, right side, left side, both look good. Yeah. Yeah, let me know who we should watch. I'm up for either of them. I think they both look good. I guess we'll ask Tristan too, because he'll be able to join me for that, and we'll see who he's most interested in watching. Yeah, why not stick with Autorun? We can have 3 Autorun games in a row. For now, I have a 20 times continuous battle versus the Dark Dragon awaiting me, hoping to get my Bone Crusher, so Soda Popinski, come help me out, bro. And what's with my crystal count? That's not actually that many crystals for good old Kong. I had to blow so much on the Yu Yu Hakusho banners trying to fill out my collection. So now I'm in Horde mode, hoarding for Lostum. All I need is Lostum's bow, Lostum's Lostum, and then maybe I'll be tempted to summon for Caroline and Kaguya just for collection purposes. But I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, tune in next week. We'll have some more Apex on the weekends. I hope you all have a great week. Stay tuned for Should You Summon coming up on Wednesday, Thursday, as usual. And I'll catch you in the next one. Happy Langrissing, everyone.
Langrisser の意志を持って人類の先導者である我と戦うというのか。
カイラとか言ったな。あのようじゃ何者なんだ。